Hi, this is an overview of Tiko Mail and the requested Google Auth scopes. Tiko Mail is an AI-powered email assistant that sits right inside Gmail or Outlook and does three things primarily. First, it'll label any incoming message according to one of our 8 labels, as well as 4 additional optional labels that users can turn on. 2, Tiko will draft replies to any emails that we deem respond worthy. It uses your voice and context from the mail to do that. And 3, in situations where the user is expecting a response from another person but hasn't gotten one, if a certain amount of time passes, Tiko Mail will draft a follow-up note, again based on the context, that the user can then review on their own and then send. Tiko Mail never actually sends emails, it just creates drafts for users to review. On our website, we have testimonials, pricing, frequently asked questions, as well as our privacy policy and our terms of service. Next, I'll jump into our onboarding flow. So the sign up page looks like this, and I can authenticate with Gmail. I'll select my tundraailabs.com email address. Here it's just the standard user metadata to get started. And this is a page where we are requesting Google OAuth scopes. So to recap, Tiko Mail will manage your drafts and it will not send emails on your behalf. However, it will take the context from your messages and create drafts. We'll also see and edit your email labels, which I'll get into in a second in the user interface. And then finally, the scope we're requesting here is the ability to see the user's calendar so that Tiko Mail can draft richer responses, specifically using date and time availabilities when they're asked to schedule a meeting. So now that I've onboarded, we have a standard dashboard for all users where you can see all-time stats and breakdowns of messages as they start to come in over time. Users also have the option to turn on those additional 4 labels that I had mentioned earlier. I'll now jump over into my user interface, which is the user's inbox. So as you can see, labels 1 through 8, I've decided to have in my inbox, while the additional 4 labels sit outside of my inbox, so it'll just skip appearing here. Here's an example of an email thread where the last message is labeled respond, which means that the user should be responding to it. In this case, I have draft emails turned on in Tiko Mail. So Tiko Mail has drafted this specific response based on the context of the user and the email chain. Again, the user will still have to send it on their own. Tiko only drafts these emails. Another example, specifically one where we are using the calendar scope, is another user asked the Tiko Mail user which availability they have next week, and using the calendar information, Tiko Mail is able to draft a response with available times and different dates next week. So those are 2 examples of our reply features using the context and the calendar scope. Thank you.